Hey guys, welcome back to Trainer TV. This is Aaron here with the Primal Clash set review. We'll go through some of these cards here, mostly the rares. We'll take a look at some of the interesting cards and kind of just discuss the set as a whole. Maybe we could set up, if there's enough interest, a live event where we can go through it and discuss and tell each other what we think the most collectible cards are, the maybe new decks that are going to come out of this, as well as I don't know, just basic strategies and cool things that we can do with this set. So like I said, we'll start with some of the rares here. We'll go with this Beedrill here. It's a stage 2, 120 HP, so it's alright. Probably not what you want to go in with for a stage 2, especially since a lot of these EXs are 180 recently. So let's look at some of the attack here. This allergic shock is really an interesting attack. Once during your turn, if the defending Pokemon is damaged by an attack, it is knocked out. So, I mean, very interesting if your opponent is in a lock. Maybe he just has one Pokemon out. But other than that, he's going to retreat. He's going to, I don't know, have some sort of switch license or do something to get his Pokemon out there so it's not knocked out by a 1 energy attack. Flip 2 coins. This attack does 50 damage times the number of heads. So I hate coin flips, but let's just think about this for a second. You do not want to play a competitive deck as Beedrill as your main attacker. First of all, there's a chance that you're going to flip 2 tails, and then, you know, it does almost nothing, or it does nothing, and you just set up this allergic shock, and you're needed you needed to damage him, and so it's useless. And there's just too many ways out of allergic shock for it to be worthwhile. Let's look at this Tangrowth. Tangrowth is fun. It's a stage 2 for 130 HP. So it's a little faster than your, stage 1. It's a little faster than your stage 2s. You're going to have this Mega Drain, heal 20 damage from this Pokemon. It's going to do 50. You have your Grass Knot, 80 plus. This attack does 10 more damage for each colorless in your opponent's active Pokemon's retreat cost. And most Pokemon these days do have a 3 to 4 colorless retreat cost. So, I mean, it could do 120 damage. Maybe throw, something on here, make it even more. The healing, though, is an interesting factor, especially when we get down here to Sceptile. Actually, let's go there next. It's the next evolutionary line. This ability is going to have some awesome changes to like grass Pokemon in general. If it's competitive, what do you guys think? Let's read it real fast. Nurture and heal. Once during your turn, you may attach a grass energy card from your hand to one of your Pokemon. If you do, heal 30 damage from that Pokemon. So you can tank, definitely. We can look at Trevenant EX. We can look at Tangrowth. Just every time, just taking advantage of the grass energy you're going to attach anyways for your attack, and just getting healing out of it. And there's even Pokemon that heal double. I don't think there's any of the grass Pokemon that do that in this set. Let's look at this barrier real fast. Whenever your opponent plays a trainer card, prevent all effects of that card to this Pokemon. So this is a new thing. These are your ancient trait cards from this set. They're going to have barrier. They're going to have growth. This barrier is awesome because it takes care of the hypnotoxic laser. That's not going to be poisoning you. That's not going to be doing anything of the sort. Your Leaf Blade here is going to be 1 energy for 30 plus damage. And again, it's a coin flip, what I'm never a fan of. Power Poison for 120. Now that's kind of cool. Discard 1 energy card attached to this Pokemon. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. Very cool, very interesting. There is a 3 energy attack though, but it has 140 HP. If you have the other Sceptile out, even though they're both stage 2s, that's going to be slow. You're still healing. Let's go here to Ludicolo. Captivating Rhythm. Once during your turn, you may flip a coin. If heads, switching one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with his or her active Pokemon. This is for control, but the question here, guys, is do you want to set up a stage 2 for the chance of switching your opponent's Pokemon? I would not play that card, but I'm sure some people could make it work. Here's an uncommon. Let's see. Let's actually just go over here to Trevenant EX. If Dark Forest, the defending Pokemon can't retreat during your opponent's next turn. I mean, now think of how cool if this Dark Forest was an ability and you could pair it with your Beedrill so you could knock him out. Unfortunately, it's an attack. But his HP is going to be around your normal EX HP. But with the introduction of your Sceptile here, you could rare candy it in fairly early in the game, giving your Trevenant EX just that healing power 30, 30, 30. And you have your Wood Blast here. So this attack does 20 more damage for each grass energy attached to this Pokemon. So not only do you want as many grass energy attached here, but you're healing 30 damage. So like competitive, I don't know. I would say it is. Try it. Bring it to your next tournament. Play it at League. Play it on TCG Online. But this Wood Blast is awesome. It's going to take you like a good amount of turns to set this up here. But once you do, and as you are, you're healing. So I'm going to play it. I'm going to try it. I'm playing another deck, but this will be my fun one. Let's look at this Ninetales here. We have Barrier Shrine as his ability. Each player can't play stadium cards from his or her hand. Two things here. First of all, that you can eliminate the Gengar threat or cards like Gengar with the Psychic Stadium that eliminates the colorless, so he's attacking for free for his first attack and only 1 energy for his second attack. You could just play this and block that right then and there. And or option 2, you can play your Stadium card, then play your Ninetales, ensuring for the most part that that Stadium stays out there and you're benefiting from that Stadium the whole game. So your opponent can't play another Stadium to knock that out. And let's go over here to Magcar Go. We have Ram, 2 energy for 30. Let's look at this Blaze here. All right, so if you have a Pokemon, this is a good tech, I would say. If you're going up against an EX deck that's weak to fire, it's a little good answer. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a Pokemon EX, this attack does 60 more damage. So you're doing 120. You're knocking out any EX that is weak to fire, but unfortunately, almost all EXs have more than 120, so you're not going to one-shot it. Though it does have this barrier, which kind of gives it a little more credibility, so you're not getting hit by Hypnotoxic Laser, but it's 110 HP. Camerupt EX. Coin flip for another 30. Blah. Explosive Jet 50 times. Discard as many fire energy attached to your Pokemon as you like. This attack does 50 damage times the number of fire energy cards you discarded. This could be alright. It's 120. There's a lot of fire support, I think, between Flash Fire and this set here with Team Magma. So, I mean, you can make probably a decent deck out of this. Let me know what you guys think. Let's go down here. Actually, let's go back to Blaziken. Spreading Flames, attach 3 attach 3 fire energy from your discard pile to your Pokemon any way you like. Maybe it's stage 2. You want to do stuff like that early on in the game. But I mean, it could set up for this heat blow here. But for the most part, um, you're just, yeah, just sitting there with energy. Let's go on to. So you have Horsey and Seadra here. We're going to get into Kingdra in a little bit. Let's look at this Swampert. Now, Swampert, I like this water arrow attack, but it's very expensive for 60 damage, but it is a sniping attack. So you're going to hit stuff that's weaker that you want out of there. Maybe you're relying on a stadium. You want to hit your Ninetales. This thing would be awesome with Crobat, but unfortunately they'd be both stage 2s, so you really wouldn't get any speed out of a deck like that, in my opinion. But I mean, hitting 60 while you're Crobat sniping as well would be awesome. Ancient Trait Swampert. You have growth here. This is actually my favorite ancient trait here. When you attach an energy card from your hand to a Pokemon, you may attach 2 energy cards. That's awesome. And it's going to really help this guy here and another deck I'm going to get into here in a minute and probably do a separate video on. Ability, Diving Search. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for a card, shuffle your deck, then put that card on top of it. There are cards that can look at your opponent's top card and make this not favorable to use, but if they do not have those cards, you're searching for your card and setting up your next turn. That's always awesome. So you have growth, you're touching 2 energies. You have Diving Search, you're setting up your next turn. And then you have this Hydro Pump here. This attack does 30 more damage for each water energy attached to this Pokemon. So with this growth here, this is what makes this Pokemon usable. You're definitely attaching those 2 energies every turn. Let's go over here. What is Ludicolo? We have an Astonish. Choose a random card from your opponent's hand. Your opponent reveals that card and shuffles it into his or her deck. That has a recovery ancient trait here. This card is going to be just mess with your opponent. There's many supports for it. So if you just want to make a troll deck, Ludicolo is probably your man. Splash Dance here for 60. During your next turn, this Pokemon Splash Dance attack does 60 more damage. So once you get the first Splash Dance off, you're going to be doing 120 as long as Ludicolo is your active Pokemon and you're consistently using Splash Dance. It is weak to grass. I'd like to see how many grass decks come up from some of these ancient traits and new abilities. Wailord EX. Huge HP here, 250. Water Veil, whenever you touch an energy card from your hand to this Pokemon, remove all special conditions from it. So this is going to be cool against Hypnotoxic Lasers and even your own attack here, which puts Wailord EX to sleep. It is 5 energy, guys. 4 retreat cost for 120. I just don't... I mean, you could possibly set up a deck that tanks. And I just don't see it really being that usable. Let's go over to this Wishcash. Let's look at this one. This one's like an uncommon. This one's a rare. This has the growth one. Again, you're going to be attaching 2 energy cards. So this makes the 3 and the 4 not that bad. It is a stage 1, so you can get this out decently fast. 40, 120. But it does 20 damage to each of your bench Pokemon. Ow. Nope. Hylotic. Sparkling Ripples. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may put a card from your discard pile onto your hand. That'd be awesome if it was a basic, because then you could do stuff like that and then Super Scoop Up. but with it being a stage 1, you'd have to set it up and it'd take 2 turns. Aqua Swirl for 60. You may have your opponent switch his or her active Pokemon with his or her bench Pokemon. That's pretty good, but you're not going to be using this as a main attacker. So there's many cards that can get a Pokemon from your discard pile. So I don't see this being used in competitive play. Walrein here, knockover. You may discard any stadium card in play. I don't think you'll be using Walrein as an attacker. But it could, I mean, it'd be good against like Pokemon that, you know, like blocked the stadium over there. This one would be cool, even though it's 4 energy. Like, man, if it had the ancient trait growth, this would be cool, especially against Donphan and fighting decks where you're doing 140 to them. But without that trait, I don't see it. Here's Huntail, powerful storm 20 times. This attack does 20 times times the amount of energy attached to all of your Pokemon. It's pretty cool. But again, it's 100 HP. It's not going to be used. You can look at that crunch attack. Here's a Gorvis growth, my favorite trait, but its attack is 30 damage for 2 energy. I don't see this being used. Here's a Kyogre. It's a coin flip. Ocean Cyclone 80. This attack does 10 damage to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. I mean, that's cool. If it, I'm huge on these ancient traits now. If it had the ancient trait growth, it'd be cool to play this in Crobat. Just as an attacker sitting up there, you can attach, make it 100, then 10 to each, and then just sniping with your Crobat. Kyogre EX, and this is a small image here. Water Pulse for 30. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep. That's pretty cool. Giant Whirlpool 140. Return 2 water energy. Touch this Pokemon to your hand. Not bad, especially paired with this Mega Primal Kyogre EX, where you have growth, and you have, I think, yeah, you have a Kyogre Spirit Link in this set. So, you know, you're not going to waste your turn. 4 energy for Tidal Storm here, though. 150, move 2 energy from this Pokemon to one of your benched Pokemon. This attack does 30 damage to each of your opponent's benched Pokemon EX. Awesome. Awesome sniping ability here. 150 as your base. That can only get higher. Plus a lot of water support in this set. A lot of support for Primal Kyogre. I could definitely see this seeing play, and it will. Deep Sea Swirl, shuffle your hand into your deck, then draw 6 cards. I mean, if you started with this Pokemon, you know, as a starter, it wouldn't be that bad. Or as a lifesaver, but you'd have to sacrifice it probably if it's sitting out there and you get your 2 water Pokemon. But I mean, if you don't mind losing a prize card, you can definitely throw that up while maybe you set up another Kyogre EX. Not a bad idea. We have a Manectric here, Lightning Turn. I always like the hit and run strategies. They're just fun. Switch this Pokemon within your bench Pokemon. So you're going up there hitting for 30, then going back into a Substitute or a Sigilith that can block a Pokemon EX if your opponent is playing those. Let's see. Have Thrash with a coin. If heads, the attack does 20 more damage. This is a self-hitting Pokemon. It does have recovery, but it only has 90 HP. It's a stage 1, and it's a coin flip. This is a horrible card. See, stage 2 Electros for 140. Energy Connect. As often as you like during your turn, you may move a basic energy attached to one of your bench Pokemon to your active. I mean, you could switch energies around, and that's definitely a good card for it. What do you guys think? Which deck would you use this in? It is a stage 2, keep in mind. So that might take some setup on your part. Nido Queen. Double kick. It's a coin flip. 40 times the number of heads. Don't like that. Poison Fang for 60. Your opponent's active Pokemon now poison. Put 2 damage counters instead of 1 on that Pokemon between turns. Not that bad. Here's your ancient trait now, Queen. What is this? Barrage. This Pokemon may attack twice a turn. Okay. Cool. So that you can attack twice. So like you have a poison jab for 30. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. And then you have Dynamite Punch for 70. This Pokemon does 20 damage to itself. Don't apply weakness to this damage. Okay. So you could probably use, I think, if I understand this right, you can use both of these in a turn. You do 100 and your opponent's Pokemon is poisoned. You would do 20 damage to yourself unless if you had, I believe it's a trainer card. I'm spacing the name right now, but you can block damage a Pokemon would do to itself. I think it was in Flash Fire, but it could be Furious Fist. But yeah, go look for that card. This Tentacool looks cool, so I'm going to click on it, even though it's just an uncommon. This has recovery, so when you heal, you do double, but anything's going to one-shot this 60 here. Tentacruel, Dancing Tentacles. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused and poison. You get double conditions there. That's awesome. For 1 energy. Stage 1, 100 HP. Heal 30 damage from this Pokemon. The defending Pokemon can't retreat to your opponent's next turn. Definitely not a competitive fighting Pokemon for sure. Let's look at this Starmie here. If this Pokemon and your opponent's active Pokemon have the same amount of energy attached to them, this attack does 60 more damage. Interesting. Again, not a main attacker. You have 90. It's 10 plus. Your retreat 0 though, so maybe there's something you could do there. Rhyperior. Rock Shower. Flip 3 coins. This attack does 20 damage times the number of heads to each of your opponent's Pokemon. Interesting. The key here is each of your opponent's Pokemon. If it just said to your opponent's defending Pokemon, I wouldn't even look at this card. I don't even want to look at this card because I have coin flips, but, you know, maybe there's a fun league deck you could put together with it. If Stone Edge here for 80 plus, flip a coin, you can do 40 more damage. But still, I mean, unless you can find a way to do energy acceleration, this is just too expensive. Their cost is too expensive. Let's look at the ancient trait one. Barrier. Here's a better image of this so I can read this. When your opponent plays a trainer card, prevent all effects of this card to this Pokemon. Okay, again, that's Hypnotoxic Laser. Rock Wall. Ability here. Any damage done to your Pokemon by your opponent's attack is reduced by 10. Hammer Arm for 100. Discard the top card of your opponent's deck. All right. Let's see, is this rare here? Yes. Metacham, 100, stage 1. Put 4 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon any way you like. Psychic Weakness, 200 attack. Here's the Barrage again. You may attack twice a turn. Calm Mind, heal 30 damage from this Pokemon. And Yoga Kick for 30. This attack's damage isn't affected by weakness or resistance. These fighting Pokemon are not really impressing me yet, but we are about to hit Groudon, and I'm sure that's going to change. Here's a coin flip. Rock Smash. Break ground for 4. 100. This attack does 10 to each of your benched Pokemon. Let's go to this Groudon EX. Why are these so small, the EXs? Ripclaw, flip a coin. If heads, discard an energy attacks your opponent's active Pokemon. Alright, so maybe when you're setting up for your massive rend here, you're going to be doing Ripclaw and trying to discard those. But let's look at the Primal, these Mega here. Mega Primal Groudon EX. Barrier. Awesome. Primal Revision Rule. Oh, okay. Gaia Volcano, 100 plus. If there's a stadium card in play, this attack does 100 more damage. Discard that stadium card. Okay. So, for attack against Primal Groudon, he needs a stadium card out there. So what you're going to do is you're going to come up here and throw in a Ninetales into your deck so that no stadium card can be played. There you go. There's your first tech against Primal Groudon. Powdon, resistance desert. 60. During your opponent's next turn, prevent all effects of attack including damage done to this Pokemon by a Pokemon EX. Awesome. Since EXs are running around, but that will change with this set. I feel there's going to be a lot more, at least 2 decks I can think of that are going to be running a stage 2. Sharpedo EX Hunt. Switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with this are active. This does 30 to the new active Pokemon. Okay, there's something fun you could do with that. Jagged Fang. Discard an energy card attached to this Pokemon. Then discard an energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. What do you guys think of that one? Crawdont. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may discard an energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. Again, it's stage 1. I would not throw this down just to do that. I mean, if it was a basic, again, I could do that and super scoop up. Then I still don't know if it'd be worth that amount of cards in your deck. Let's look at Aggron EX. Steel Headbutt for 50 plus, flip a coin. If heads, this attack does 30 more damage. Alright. Raging Hammer for 60 plus, this attack does 10 more damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. What do you guys think? Let's go to this Mega here. You may flip a coin. If heads, this attack does 120 more damage. If tails, this attack does 20 damage to each of your benched Pokemon. That's a major setback. But if you hit the heads, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I think there's cards where you can retry your flip. Let's go into. See, is this rare? Yeah. Dredge. Search your deck for 2 energy cards. Attach them to this Pokemon. Shuffle your deck afterwards. It does have the barrage here. Twice. It can attack twice a turn. Interesting. Match Claw. This attack's damage isn't affected by resistance. Aegis Slash. Miracle Guard. Each of your Pokemon have no weakness. First of all, awesome. Depending on what deck you're playing to get rid of this weakness, but it is a stage 2. If it gets pulled up to the front, it is a 3 retreat cost. Does it have the attack to negate that? I don't know. Protect Charge 80. During your opponent's next turn, any damage done to this Pokemon by attacks is reduced by 20. I would say no. You're doing a 3 energy for 80. You have a 3 retreat cost, and it's a stage 2. I think those kind of make this not as good as it could be. But if it can stay on your bench, and if you have ways of retreating it, if it gets pulled up, it could be worth you having no weakness. Definitely. That's uncommon. This is I can't read down here. But I mean, you can take a look at some of these. Let's go to some of the more interesting cards that I see here. First of all, let's do this Gardevoir EX. Life Leap here for 20 heal from this Pokemon, the same amount of damage you did to your opponent's active Pokemon. Okay. I wish that had higher damage. That would be awesome. Shining Wind for 100. During your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon has no weakness. It's alright. Now let's go to this Mega, though, see if it makes up for it. Mega Evolve, Brilliant Arrow 30 times. This attacks us 30 times the number of fairy energy attached to all of your Pokemon. Okay. You could definitely make a deck out of that. And it's an awesome looking card. Now we're getting to one of my favorite cards of the new set. Not this one, but the next one. Shred. This attack's damage isn't affected by effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. Okay, 30 damage. Twister. Here we go with this combo. Flip 2 coins for each head, discard an energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. If both of them are tails, this attack does nothing. Now for the king of this set. Or it would be if it was water. I wish it was water. Then it would be even more of a beast. But there's still enough that you can do with this. First of all, it has my favorite trait here. Growth, so you're attaching 2 energies. And you're going to have, first attack, gather strength. Search your deck for up to 4 basic energy cards. Reveal them and put them into your hand. Awesome. This Dragon Blast here really kicks in because you're probably on your first turn going to attach an energy to your Horsey. So it already has one. Then you can rare candy up to your Kingdra turn 2. With growth, attach the 2 other energy, and you're hitting for 150 damage on turn 2. Discard a water. What am I doing today? Discard a water energy and a lightning energy attached to this Pokemon. All right, but as we will see later on, do not even worry about discarding these 2 energy. You can get them back. There's the trainers that'll put them back to your deck, back to your hand, and you have growth. So you're attaching them right back on and doing 150 again. Now, this Flygon has been overlooked in 5 of the Primal Clash reviews I have seen before. And let's just say this Flygon, even though it's a stage 2, is going to change how a lot of things have been done. I'm sorry. Back when I used to play years ago, there was a card called Claydol. And this is very much like it. Except Claydol, you were able to draw 6 cards and it only affected yourself. The exchange from this one is once during your turn, you may choose either player. That player shuffles his or her hand into his or her deck and draws 4 cards. All right. And you can have 2 Flygons out on your bench or 3 Flygons out on your bench and be doing sand flap. So first of all, it's going to be major drawing for you. Or you can just mess with your opponent the whole game and make him reshuffle his hand back into his deck and draw 4 cards. I can see Bicycle working well with this, as well as many other cards. You are not going to be using it for its attack. You're going to be doing nothing with this except rare candying it up to use Sand Flap. And this will speed this game up back to where you can use stage 2s. That is the importance of this card, is it's going to bring out the speed again back into the format for stage 1 and stage 2 decks. You won't need to rely on EXs as much anymore. And I might just do a separate video of the best cards from this set. In my opinion, here's another few cards. You can look at it. Here's your God card. That's the Acro Bike. Look at the top 2 cards of your deck. Put one of them into your hand. Discard the other. I don't know. Maybe you can use it. There's your Spirit League for Aggron. Archie's Ace in the Hole. This is going to power up definitely your water Pokemon here. Now, for Kingdra, you can definitely take a water Horsey, even though Kingdra is dragon. You can take a water Horsey or one of your water Seadras and put it back onto your bench, then draw 5 cards. Super fast, guys. Super fast deck. Same thing with Dive Ball. Search your deck for a water Pokemon. The smart thing about this deck is Horsey is a water Pokemon. You can get these out very fast. Unfortunately, you can't get your Kingdra, I'm sorry, from this, but it's going to get all your setup done. Another thing, put 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile into your hand. What did you just discard last time? A water and electric energy. Let's put those back into my hand and attach those with growth. Here's your energy retrieval. Escape rope again, guys. Each player switches his or her active Pokemon with one of his or her bench Pokemon. EXP share. When your active Pokemon is knocked out by a damage from an opponent's attack, you may move 1 basic energy card that was attached to that Pokemon to the Pokemon this card is attached to. What do you guys think? What would you play that on? Freshwater Set, I feel, is a counter maybe to Crobat, but do you want to play this in your deck? Heal 20 damage from each of your Pokemon. I don't know. Here's your Gardevoir Spirit Link, Groudon Spirit Link, Kyogre Spirit Link. Let's look at this. There's still a lot of setup for fighting right now. This is going to be the same thing as Archie's Ace in the Hole, basically. Put a fighting Pokemon from your discard pile into your bench, then draw 5 cards. You're able to do a Groudon with this. You're able to do a Kyogre with this one, and there are playable Kyogres and Groudons. Professor Birch's Observations. It's going to be a coin flip between 7 and 4 cards. I don't know. I'd play it. There's your all-important rare candy that continues on in this set for your stage 2s. Setting up your Flygon. Repeat Ball. Search your deck for a Pokemon with the same name as one of your Pokemon in play. Reveal it and put it into your hand. This could be used, I mean, for anything. This is an awesome card. Rough Seas. Once during your turn, that player may heal 30 damage from each of his or her water and electric Pokemon. Scorch Earth. You're going to do your fire and fighting. And you draw your 2 cards there. Shrine of Memories. Each player's evolved Pokemon can use any attack from its previous evolutions. Awesome, guys. What are you going to play this with? Maybe Night March? Maybe, I don't know. What do you guys think? Silent Lab. Each basic Pokemon in play in each player's hand and each player's discard pile has no abilities. So here you go. You're going to have your stage 2 out. You're going to play your stage 1 or your stage 2. Play your Silent Lab. And then play your Stadium Lock here. So if you're facing an all EX deck, guys, they're done if they rely on abilities, and that's very conditional. Teammates. Search your deck for up to 2 cards and put them into your hand. I'm sorry. This is very important. The first part of this. You can play this card only if one of your Pokemon was knocked out during your opponent's last turn. This reminds me of a card back in the day called Cynthia's Feelings, I believe it was. I believe that's the one where if your Pokemon's knocked out, you gotta draw an insane amount of cards. This is gonna do the same thing. It's just gonna set you up. As another PokeTuber mentioned, you can grab another teammates if you think another Pokemon is going to be knocked out here soon, and another card that you need. Weakness policy. The Pokemon this card is attached to has no weakness. And then here's your energies and your Fool Arts. Okay. Awesome. You have a switch in this set, but this is going to be like ultra rare. Alright. Well, you guys can take a look at these Fool Arts and also let me know. Let me do a separate video if you guys would like on Kingdra, as well as maybe a grass deck or another deck that I think can really benefit from this set. But other than that, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day, and I will see you soon.